up a daily fantasy. His number too high, then I'm probably fading him. He been on the road, he gon' eat up my salary. I hit up by, he gon' lie before lock. Play back to back, then I probably won't pick on the DFS bachelor, good as it gets. Build a few liners and hit me a leg. He had a good game, but it might be a trick. Log in the Slack so I know who to pick. Sharing our liners, we all gon' get rich. New to this game, you should come to the pad. You might want some cash and get a good laugh. DFS sports, we gon' run up a bag. He heard every game and it's making me mad. You buying your lineups, I think you a cheater. DFS bachelor, he the new leader. Yeah.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to the Bachelor Pad. I, of course, am your host, the DFS Bachelor, and we're going to go over the LPL LCK League of Legends slate tonight. So what does that mean? That means we need our League of Legends Supermind Mike, because I certainly am not one of those. So, as always, a big thank you to Mike for being here with us. How you doing this morning, man? Or this afternoon, I guess, where you're at.
Just ate some, chicken quesadilla thing that I kind of whipped up. It was pretty amazing. So I'm feeling good, but I feel like I might fall asleep within a half an hour. Oh, God. It's one of those situations.
Gotcha. You know, I've been getting from the taco shop here, they have a chicken fajita quesadilla. And it's fajitas in a quesadilla, and it is bomb. I highly recommend that. I love it's like a fajita burrito in a quesadilla. It's so fucking good. First things first, before we get into everything, thank you all so much for all your support. We really appreciate that. If you can do us a favor, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Also, if you leave a comment in the comment section, we are doing a $25 PayPal giveaway. We're going to announce that winner on Monday. Mike is going to remind me so I don't forget. Right? Good?
Yeah.
Good. That's good.
I would never forget such a thing.
Yeah, I'm terrible at forgetting those things. So leave a comment below. Hopefully it's a nice comment. If it's mean, not too mean. Otherwise, it has to get deleted.
Well, the one thing that we were asking before was if you have a one-liner that you want to put into eSports Center, which I do on my channel.
That's right.
So, for example, today there was a player named Mickey playing, and one of the people in my Discord said that they wanted to hear, "Hey, Mickey, you're so fine, you blow my mind. Hey, Mickey." Hey,
Oh,
Mickey.
good
And I did
one.
that in the eSports Center.
There you go.
This one's pretty good. This episode was a pretty good one.
Okay.
I have some really good ones and I have some decent ones. This is a pretty good one.
I like it. And you can see Mike's eSports Center. He also does thorough breakdowns throughout the day if his mind changes and he thinks something different after some research. The link to his channel is in the video description below. Be sure to check that out. Subscribe to that as well. Our Twitter handles are down there as well. We have the starting lineups tweeted out on our Twitter page. Mm-hmm. The Chinese league's probably already out. I haven't actually done that yet. I haven't looked. It's been
I haven't looked either.
Kind of a busy morning.
Korea screwed me over. I had an alarm set for 3:50, and I guess when I was falling asleep, I put my phone on silent. So I had some KT roster lineups with the wrong players, but they lost anyway, so it didn't really matter.
Yeah.
But just to set the scene for everybody, so in this video, we're going to do the LPL LCK slate. I'm not going to technically give my picks, but I'll break down the entire slate with Kyle. I'm only going to be giving out picks to people who support me through Patreon from now on. So I'll be doing all my regular content just with that one part missing. So we'll do LPL LCK here, and then on my channel I do the eSports Center stuff. And then if you want to find some information on the LEC for tomorrow, I'm probably going to include that in my eSports Center video, but they're changing the sizes of contests and stuff like that. So it's pretty stupid. Yeah, it's weird.
Things are a little bit weird. And, we're just going to keep doing the show the same way. For me, it's not necessarily about picking necessarily for DFS. It's trying to find which underdogs have a chance at winning. That's basically what you need to do. And it's DFS strategy, stacking 3-4 and 4-3 stacks, getting the highest upside, and you got to spread yourself out. Title of your sex tape, because we've seen it. The winning lineup last night were the two Korean underdogs. Who would have predicted that going into it? They wouldn't, but you've heard me time and time again saying there is value in making 4-3, 3-4 stacks with the double underdogs because they're going to be low owned. You'll be all by yourself at the top, and it can happen. These are all world-class players. All it takes is one miss of a keystroke, one little thing, and the underdog is all of a sudden stomping on. It doesn't take much,
Yeah, it's true.
So it's something to keep in mind, and just, it's really about lineup strategy, and especially these 4-game slates. You can do some 3-2-2s, which you want to pick the teams that you think are going to win, but you also want to give yourself some upside and some lower ownership too. So that's really important to do. Also, one other thing of note, be sure to check out Overlay DFS. You can go to overlaydfs.com, download the Android app there. You can also download the app in the Apple iTunes Store. It's a lot of fun. You don't have to be perfect to win. You're not playing against mass entries. You can win a huge jackpots. It's a lot of fun. So check out Overlay DFS. Don't forget, I will be at Sportsbook Review. Finalized that contract yesterday, was actually when it got finalized. All football season, Donnie Rightside and I will be breaking down our NFL picks for each week. Our DFS shows will continue as well. So there's going to be a lot of content. Hit subscribe, hit the like button, comment with the one-liners, check out Mike's channel. I think I covered all the bases.
Yeah. The last thing. Tonight around 10 o'clock, I'll probably be streaming on Twitch, but that time always changes a little bit. But like sometime between 10 to 11, I do like a little stream for the DFS slate, the DFS slates for the next day.
Perfect.
But yeah, let's go.
Let's go. First game. Catbox, Litterbox, Sandbox versus Damwon Gaming. This one for me is easy. Now listen, Korea, I still get asked this question a lot, and we had some questions in the comment section. Hey, do you think this person will start? We can give all the guesses in the world. The bottom line is you're not getting the Korean starting lineups till, sometimes an hour before, sometimes a half hour before. They're not releasing them any sooner. I have been staying up since it's about 1 a.m. my time, so I've been staying up till about midnight and posting those on our Twitter feed. That's where you can find the starting lineups, and that's the best thing I can recommend doing. If I go to sleep early, I'm setting an alarm for 12:30, 12:20, so I can wake up, see the starters. Like last night, I had to take out Smeb for Sohan a little bit, etc.
Yeah,
there were just some things that you had to do. That's what happens with the Korean slate. And the last Korean game, DragonX and Gen.G, we're just not going to know. You will not know their starters 100% guaranteed before a lock. We'll have a pretty good idea because these are two pretty good teams, and they played in the mid-season classic as well.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the best way I can tell you. So you can follow us on Twitter. That's the best way to get the starters. I don't know how else to help you, and it'll be a half hour beforehand. So if you're on the East Coast, set your alarm for 3:30 in the morning. That's the best fucking thing I can tell you. I know it sucks.
Yeah, it's brutal.
It is. It's just brutal. But that's the way it goes. So Sandbox and Damwon Gaming, I don't have the odds up, but obviously Damwon Gaming is the favorite. Sandbox is fucking terrible. I bet against them every single time. Will that bite me in the ass once or twice? Sure. Do I expect Sandbox to win a whole lot of games? No. Damwon Gaming, good team. These teams did play twice last split. Their most recent matchup, Damwon Gaming won 2-1 on April 15th. The game before that was way back on February 23rd when the world was still sort of a normal place. And Sandbox actually won that matchup 2-0. I don't put a whole lot of weight into that. It's just kind of information for you guys. I'll take Damwon Gaming all the way. I kind of like Ghost in the captain spot. I don't mind that either. They're 80 carry. And I like their jungler Canyon. One of the better junglers in Korea.
Yeah, so I have the line. It is, let me give you the percentage.
It's got to be in the 200s, right? It has to be.
Yeah, Damwon Gaming is minus 270. That's a 73% favorite to win the match. Sandbox plus 200. I think that there is value on the Sandbox side in terms of betting, but not a lot. Like I'm not looking to make a bet on them as an underdog to win the match outright. I would consider putting bets on them to like win the first map or the second map.
Mm-hmm.
But let's go lane by lane and
Sure.
try to see what is going to happen. So in their first match, they played Summit, On Fleek, Dove, Root, and Gorilla. And that's basically what we anticipated going in, so there weren't any like huge surprises. And we got the lineup right before lock.
Right.
So Summit against Nogri. So Damwon Gaming, Nogri is he is a very good top laner mechanically. Like he's one of the quote unquote carry top laners. So he's very volatile. Summit is also a very volatile top laner. So typically Damwon Gaming in matchups where the other top laner is just like a tank player or something like that, Nogri has a pretty large advantage. But because of this matchup, I see that just increasing the variance that this that every individual game has. In the jungle, Canyon against On Fleek. Canyon's okay. I'm not the biggest Canyon fan. I just don't think he's a huge difference maker compared to like some of the better junglers in the world. But he's definitely like good enough to be a professional in Korea. So that is saying something.
Sure.
On Fleek has spurts where he looks like very, very good, especially when he's playing with Summit, and like dominating the 2v2 in the top lane. In the mid lane, we have Showmaker, and Dove played the first match.
Right.
Showmaker is definitely better than Dove.
Right.
I think I mentioned this during the midseason cup research. Showmaker was doing some kind of challenge where he tried to play every single champion one time to, like, in the ranked solo queue environment to try to get the challenger, which is extremely difficult. Like, only the top fraction of a percent can be a challenger player, and he was trying to do it with that restriction on himself. And I never followed through to check out if he actually finished it or not. But even just attempting that tells you how good this guy is.
Right.
In the bot lane, we have Ghost and Beryl against Root and Gorilla. Those are most likely the starting.
Right.
Most likely the starters. Ghost and Nuclear split time last season, I think, but Ghost kind of took over the role and never let it go. So that is probably a closer matchup than most people would think, because Damwon Gaming wins a lot more games than Sandbox. They look better. Like when you're an 80 carry on a winning team, it's like being a running back on a winning team. Yeah. It's like all your numbers are going to be kind of skewed just because you're winning games.
Sure.
So I think both teams are pretty interesting. I'm not doing anything too crazy, and I don't think that either jungler is really a huge carry jungler that I want exposure to as a captain. Right. So I'm just looking at mid laners and 80 carries.
Yep, me too.
In this game for captain.
Me too. And like just me personally, Sandbox I shouldn't say this because I know I'm jinxing the shit out of everything, but I'm not going to have a single lineup with Sandbox. I'm just not going to fucking do it. I fucking hate them. I can't stand that team. They suck so fucking bad.
Yeah.
They piss me off.
I think both of these teams will probably be low owned because Sandbox played against a Freak of Freaks and gave up like a slate winning performance, right?
Yeah, they did. So
maybe
you might
some
see a
people will
little
play
bit
that
more
direction.
on Damwon Gaming. Yeah, I think, and it's the first Korean game. It's the only one if you actually wake up and see that you can know for sure who's going to play. Yeah. I mean, I feel pretty good about the DragonX Gen.G thing. I'll be surprised if that changes, but you speak in absolutes, and the next thing you know, a guy named Ben is playing support, and you don't even. It's just like okay.
Yeah. So before like moving in any deeper into like ownership and stuff like that, let's go to the next one.
Yeah.
Let's try to get through all four, and then we can talk ownership at the end.
Yeah. So our next game, E-Star and LNG. These teams did play once in the spring split on March 27th. E-Star, of course, won that one 2-1. E-Star coming off a terrible loss to Billy Gaming. Just was pretty pathetic. Mm-hmm. I like playing teams against LNG. They give up a ton of fantasy points. I do think E-Star is highly priced. It's going to be very... If you're playing E-Star as your main stack tonight, you have to pick an underdog. And it's still going to barely fit. I mean, you have Wink at 12-6. It's still going to barely fit. A little bit of water sometimes helps, if you're in a pinch.
You're slipping. I can't believe you didn't say that.
I know. 12-6 in the captain spot. Fen, who I think sucks, their mid laner. They should have just kept crying. He's 12-3 in the captain spot. They're very, very expensive, but I do think E-Star puts up big points tonight.
Yeah, so let's take a look at the line real quick. So E-Star is the favorite. They're 58% at -139. LNG's +106, so 49%.
Ooh, I kind of like that bet for E-Star then. I think that's a nice favorite number. I like that.
Yeah, it is somewhat interesting. Going into the season, I think E-Star was definitely supposed to be a much better team than LNG, but so far we've seen LNG be pretty competitive against some good teams, and they ended up beating FPX in that one match.
Right.
So I think that a lot of players are going to remember that and have some interest in LNG as an underdog. Let me just verify. Yeah, right now they're 2-1.
Okay.
And E-Star is 1-2. LNG played against Oh my god, I hate when advertisements load when I'm trying to click on something.
LNG.
It just shifts me away from it. Yeah, LNG
They
beat
they lost
FPX.
to Sunning. They beat
Yeah,
FPX and they beat RNG 2-0.
yeah,
So they've beaten
yeah,
two good teams.
yeah. So I do think that the line is probably off on this one. I don't think that E-Star should be the highest price team on the slate,
Yeah.
but it's kind of like a double reverse situation where before the season everybody thought E-Star was going to be better than LNG. LNG has looked better in this split and have some new players. So let's go lane by lane. So Xiaobai against Chenlun 17. Chenlun 17 is taking over for Flandre. Flandre was a very good top laner for a very long time. He was like one of the most popular players in China for a little while, or one of the most popular top laners. But Chenlun 17 is like fundamentally different from Flandre. They're both carry top laners, but Chenlun 17 plays a lot of AP top laners like Vladimir and Silas, champions like that, which give him kind of like a difficult champion pool to prepare for, because if you're just blindly picking normal top lane champions against them, they will have options to kind of like pick a unique champion that you're not going to be able to answer later on in the draft.
Right.
So that is a pretty interesting advantage in the top lane. I don't think that it's necessarily enough to like dominate the top lane, but it's definitely possible that Chenlun 17 wins that matchup.
Sure.
Because when I look at Xiaobai, his top lane pool, he played basically E-Star has played Wukong 6 games out of 8. They've played Mordekaiser and they played Ornn. So that tells me that Chenlun 17 has a amazing matchup against Xiaobai, because their most popular champion that they've been playing is Wukong, and Wukong is weak against AP top laners. So Chenlun 17, like if I can figure that out in 2 minutes, I'm sure that the coaches can figure that out as well. So maybe they won't be picking Wukong tonight, or they have some other kind of plan for the AP top laners. But E-Star is also the team that had a jungler with Ignite instead of Smite, which was a huge oversight by the coaching staff and like the players. They said it was some kind of random practice tool thing. They just messed up, and he ended up getting fined like a month's worth of salary. It was pretty insane. Yeah, Wei got fined a month's salary.
Oh, they're
so in the jungle.
They're taking that seriously. Jesus.
Yeah, well,
just because
they
picked
don't
the
want
wrong guy. I mean, come on.
they don't want it. They don't want it to be. They're so afraid of match fixing because a lot of the owners are tied to like casinos and sports books and stuff like that. They don't want any kind of insinuation that it was fixed.
Sure.
So yeah, so in the jungle we have Wei and we have XX.
Double X.
Yeah, so I'm pretty sure that Wei is just overrated based off of his early performance last season.
Mm-hmm.
He is playing the champions that we want. That he does play some Graves. Same thing for XX. He has one Graves game that he played against RNG. But he is more. Neither of these guys are amazing junglers compared to the rest of the league.
Right.
So you're not going to find a huge advantage in either lane there.
Right.
Fun against Maple. I think that Fun has actually played pretty well this split.
He bugs me.
Yeah, he has a fun name.
Yeah, he does have a fun. Even though I consider it more Fen. Is it supposed to be fun?
Yeah, I used to call him Fen, like a couple.
The only
weeks
fun
ago,
thing about the way he's been playing so far, I guess, would be the spelling of his name, because he fucking sucks so far. He's pissed me off.
Yeah. So the good thing about him, the good thing about him is that he's played Kassadin 2 out of the last 4 games. So it does mean that they're looking to put him on champions that will get like ridiculous Draftkings performances and a win. So that is something to watch out for. He could definitely go insane.
Okay.
Maple on LNG. He looked horrible in their first match against Sunning. He looked okay against FPX, but he's not like the hard carry of the team. He's not the most important player on the team, and that's why they brought in Chenlun 17, so that he can kind of take on some of the carry duties. So that's probably a 50-50 in the mid lane. But since we're in a meta where Galio is very impactful, he does play Galio, so that is pretty good for his teammates. In the bot lane, we have Wink and Xiaoxi against Light and Damwon. So Wink and Xiaoxi are pretty well respected in China. They play the meta champions, and Xiaoxi has the additional upside of being a playmaker. So the announcers always say like, "Oh my God, he's so good. He's on Thresh, Blitzcrank, like some of these hook champions," and they just lose their minds because they think it's like so impressive.
Right.
It's a little overstated, but they are good.
Xiaoxi is one of my favorite supports to play. Him and like
Yeah.
missing from World Elite. Some of those guys with just big upside. Some they just go off,
Yeah.
you know, because
They're
you can get
involved.
a they're just involved. They're not just sitting there, you know,
Yeah.
they're not playing 3 matches and having 1 kill, 2 assists, and fucking
Yeah.
you know 1,200 creeps, whatever the fuck that is. So
Yeah.
yeah.
So yeah, so then Light and Dwan for LNG. I think that they've actually been pretty good as well in this split.
Really good.
Light had a couple of really good Aphelios performances, but Aphelios is just an insane champion right now. So if I was E-Star, I would limit Shenlong 17's champion pool by not blind picking anything that will get abused by an AP top laner. I would try to have a counter pick for some of the AP top laners that he might play, and I would ban out Aphelios. Because if I'm going to have Light on another champion, the chances of him completely dominating the matchup is a lot lower. So I would eliminate that champion as well.
Gotcha.
So it is a very interesting matchup. I think both teams do have chances to win, which is reflected in the money line. That's kind of how I'm seeing it. I think that it's going to be tough to roster E-Star for a lot of players because they're going to look at the records and they're going to see that like how expensive E-Star is.
Yeah, they're very expensive. I'm going to have exposure to both sides, of course. I think this could end up being the higher. I mean, obviously FPX World Elite, which we'll get to in a moment, but this has a chance to kind of sneakily be the highest scoring game on the slate. So I like this game. I'll have exposure to both sides. Let's go to our next game, FPX and World Elite. Obviously, FPX is the favorite. I kind of like World Elite here. I don't think FPX has been that impressive, honestly. I don't think they've been impressive since the playoffs of the Spring Split, then the Mid-Season Cup, everything else. Of course, I'm going to have exposure to them. They did beat Billy Gaming 2-0. I mean, cool. I can also beat my 15-year-old son in arm wrestling, you know. Yeah. But lost to LNG, who we just talked about, 1-2. They did play last year on March 17th. That's kind of right after everything started kicking off again. And they won 2-0. They beat World Elite 2-0. Again, you're going to see a lot of ownership in these Chinese leagues games because, 1, there's information, and 2, they have the reputation of being higher scoring games. This is another, I'm going to have exposure to both sides again. This is another one of those where I'm just going to hedge myself.
Yeah, so FPX is minus 227, so they're projected to win the matchup 70% of the time.
Right.
World Elite is plus 170. So I think that you're right. I have been getting some messages about World Elite today. People are asking me, like, do they have a realistic chance to win? And you also brought up that FPX beat World Elite 2-0 last split. But when they had that match, I'm 99% sure that Teacher Ma wasn't the mid laner. And he is perfect for this meta. The main problem in this matchup is that World Elite is basically fun plus light. So I think it's a situation where 2 teams are playing the same style. One of them was a world champion and the other one is World Elite. So I think it's it'll be very interesting. I think that Jiaomeng is going to end up being very highly owned. And there will be people running stacks of World Elite because they're in China and we've seen FPX lose recently. But when we're in a spot where FPX is playing the same play style and all they have to do is kind of just be a little bit better than the other team, I think that FPX will probably go under owned tonight and World Elite will be over owned.
Yeah, I completely agree. And for me, when I'm building my teams around FPX, it always starts with do and be. If I'm making an FPX lineup, LWX will always be higher priced for some reason, because I guess it's because he's the AD carry. But Do and B to me is the best player on that team. He's the one. He and Khan. I love the top lane Khan because Khan can get really aggressive and put up big points too. Yeah, he does have some good champions that he's willing to play that other players aren't. So before we move on, I'll do the lane by lane. Okay. So Khan against Morgan, they're both carry top laners. They're both from Korea.
Khan is he's been playing pretty well recently. He got off to a slow start. The team was trying to figure out how to play around a carry top laner, but I think they're starting to figure it out pretty well. He played a Kale top last game, which is specifically good against like Ornn, because you can just scale into infinity and not get punished for it. So it would be interesting if World Elite has some like plans to how to abuse that, but I think that Fun Plus Phoenix isn't going to fall into that trap. Tian against Beishang in the jungle. I think they're both very good junglers. Tian has more experience and has a world championship, so I do think that it's a slight edge to Tian, but not a huge one. Beishang has been pretty impressive
Right.
Since he took over the starting job. Duanbi and Teacher Ma, similar champion pool, which is very good for World Elite, because that means that there's a lower percent chance that they're banning out a lot of the champions that they both play. And it means that Duanbi will have a deeper understanding of champions to counter whatever World Elite decides to play. So that'll be a tough spot for World Elite. There was actually some kind of thing circulating on Twitter saying that Teacher Ma is stuck on the solo queue ladder in like platinum, which is like, that means you're in like the top 5% of players roughly. So he's basically stuck on the solo queue ladder because of like, it's tough to say why, but they were saying like, he might have his professional status revoked. That's not gonna happen. They don't give a shit what your solo queue status is. He has proven that he can beat professional players on a professional stage because of his play style, because he understands the game. So it was funny to like see that circulating, but there's no way they're gonna kick him off a team for something like that.
No, I could think of plenty of teams that would take him as their mid laner right now.
Yeah, sure, exactly. Yeah,
I mean, come on.
Yeah, so LWX and Crisp in the bot lane against Zhao Meng and Missing. Like I said, I think Zhao Meng is going to be very highly owned because everyone knows the name. We'll see the fantasy points per game.
Right.
And maybe they don't realize that you need a win in order to score 96.
Exactly.
So
for the most part, most of the time.
Yeah, so maybe it's a game stack spot where some people try to do that, where they have 4 players from FPX plus Zhao Meng, hoping that 2 of the games go pretty close. But yeah, a pretty interesting matchup. This will be very fun to watch. I'm excited to watch this match. Mm-hmm. I have to think more about how I want to get exposure to it, though, on DraftKings.
Right. Yeah, I won't be watching it. That's 3:50 in the morning my time. They can piss off. Not happening. Not happening.
Fair
Only
enough.
way I'm waking up at 3:50 to watch something is if it's Tyson versus Holyfield 3 in their 50s. Then I'm in. Anything else on this game? I think we covered that pretty well.
Yeah, it's good.
Let's go to our last game. 2 Korean teams. Again, we won't 100% know the starters. We'll have a very, very good idea. But again, and a lot of them, they don't have bench players. Like at the top, their top junglers, 80 carries, all only have 1 player per team. So you can make your stacks pretty well. So I think that's a good thing. Both these teams are good teams, playoff teams. They're also mid-season cup teams. They played quite a bit this year. Gen.G won the first matchup back in February 2-1. DragonX won 2-0 on April 4th. And then during the midseason cup, they split. They played twice in that midseason cup, each team winning 1-0 against the other. I suppose DragonX is the slight favorite, I would imagine, over Gen.G. I like both sides of this. I love the pricing on this. I'm going to have exposure to both sides of this. Love the pricing.
Yeah, so it's 55% to 51%. So both of the money lines are right around 100.
Yeah.
Gen.G was the number 1 team going into playoffs last year, and that means that they're automatically in the finals. And T1 ended up beating them in the finals. During the regular season, DragonX also beat up on Gen.G, which kind of just meant to me that Gen.G is very good at beating bad teams, but they're not great at beating good teams.
Exactly.
In the first match of the season, DragonX beat T1, and that I knew that was a possibility, but if I have the chance to bet on T1 in a close matchup, I'm always going to, because they win. They just win. Like they always win. They ended up losing that one, but I think it just speaks to DragonX's talent, which I think I did talk at length about on that video as well. Right. So lane by lane, we have Doran against Rascal. Personally, I don't love either top laner. I don't think that they're huge difference makers. They're not the primary focus of either team.
Sure.
Piosik and Klid, both very good junglers. Yeah. They're probably two of the 10 best junglers in the world right now. They're just both very good.
Right.
In the mid lane, we have Chovy and BDD. Both of these players were in the running for MVP last split. I forget who ended up taking it. I think it was BDD, but they're both very good players. If Quad starts one of these games tonight, you will have a great reason to be very upset because there's no reason.
He hasn't played since January or some shit like that. I don't know why he's even on the fucking team.
Chovy is one of their main guys. He's like their main guy.
Yeah.
So basically, the way it works is like Chovy is the person they play around in the early and mid game. They try to get him a lead, and then they transition into the late game where Deft is able to play in team fights and stuff like that. Deft, a very good player. Ruler is a good player as well. Deft has more of a pedigree and is more like recognized worldwide because he has played for a lot of great teams. But like as per usual, the 80 carries aren't really the difference makers. The reason I think that DragonX will probably have an advantage in the bot lane is because Keria has been phenomenal for the last 3 months.
Right.
So Gen.G in the support role, there is a substitute risk. Life and Kellen will go back and forth depending on champion pool if they think there's something to exploit. So the fact that this is happening at 7 a.m. and they can make a change mid-match, I will probably stay away from the support.
Yeah, no Gen.G supports for me. Hard pass. Easy. It's an easy, hard pass. I agree with all that. Is there anything else we want to go over in this? You want to talk about your top favorites, underdogs? I need to go PP got it up. Let's just put it that way. I am wiggling. I got a PP got it up.
I think we're good here. So if you want to get a little bit more insight into what I'm thinking about these matches, I'll probably touch on it. Oh my god!
Yeah, of course you will.
in my esports center video, but in my esports center video, we're doing the highlights. Then we're doing LPL LCK. Then we're doing LEC. And then tonight around 10 or 11 o'clock, I'm gonna go live on twitch.tv/the League of Items. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me there. Twitter, comments on YouTube. But I think we can get out of here so you can go take care of the PP God.
The PP God. Perfect. Yeah, again, don't forget to check out Overlay DFS, overlaydfs.com, Apple iTunes Play Store. Check out Mike's channel. It's all there in the video description below. The links to that. Our Twitter feeds are down there. Check us out this fall on sportsbookreview.com as well.
Just don't PP God your pants.
I'm not going to PP God my pants. Thank you all so much for watching. May the fantasy gods be with you all tonight. Good luck to you all.
They don't exist.
They don't exist, okay? And we will... see you all tomorrow sometime. I have a bunch of dump runs I have to do. I have a lot of preparation, but we should be able to get a video in tomorrow afternoon. I'm like 70% sure. So, you know, I got some give or take. Thank you all again so much. Seriously, thank you all. Comment. Be part of that giveaway. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye, folks.
Bye-bye.